And here we go. guys. You're watching the freaking Frack Show.
Podcast for the fans, by the fans.
What?
We love you
Gotta
guys.
go.
Oh yeah. And we're back
Oh
again.
yeah, man! This is a weekday special, and it's an absolute special event for sure, man.
Bro, frickin' fracker coming in hot for March. We're coming
We
in
are.
hot.
It's
Hot
been
and heavy.
one person after another. These people. I mean, every single person we've gotten. We grew up with these people. I mean, personally, this person today was a huge impact. Made a huge impact as a child. Didn't really teach me much how to dance or sing. I just had too much difficulties as a kid doing that. But man, it's just really, really cool to have this guy here tonight.
Man, I hope everybody out there is excited. Drop in the comments where you're watching from. I know this is a different type of setup. So if you hear my kids running around upstairs, that's because it's 8:30 on a Wednesday. We're doing it for you guys. Family man. Caleb, who we having on today, brother? Let's just bring him in.
Yeah, let's do it, man. We got Mr. Greg Raposo.
Hey,
go.
what's up, fellas?
How's it going, buddy?
Fantastic. How you doing?
Everything's good here, man. It's a huge honor, and I mean that. I don't use that word a lot, but it's a huge honor to speak to you after, 20 years, or so. Finally be able to sit down and talk to you, and it's great, man.
It is genuinely my pleasure. So thank you guys so much for asking me to be a part of it, and it's an honor to be on here.
Absolutely, man. We got a lot of fans here tonight, man.
It's unbelievable that they're still here. It's
Yes.
I don't want to check my watch, but it's been a minute, so it's pretty incredible that however many years, let's not count them later.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out how many years, but it's been a while, man.
Very, very special. Nothing I ever would have dreamed. And yes, it's unbelievable. Even still to this day, random people will come up to me and be like, "Hey, are you by any chance, that guy?" And I'm like, yeah, I am. So I tell you the truth, it probably makes my day more than it does theirs. So yeah, like I said, my pleasure, for real.
Greg, I think it's a testament to the music that you continuously put out. It's not every day that somebody can start the way that you guys had started, and still to this day have people come up to you in the street, man. It's you guys have made, and yourself have made, music that stands the test of time, and that's what we're all about. So thank you.
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth. It's always just been about being myself. And, naturally you grow and you change. And I think the music I've created has done that as well. And it's an evolution,
Yeah.
It sure is, man. We've been talking to different people. We're talking to a lot of fans, especially on our show, but we reached out to the DreamStreet groups as well. And people, I can't tell you, people are just truly excited to have you, man. It's just it's been a long time coming for us. I had spoken to Matt a couple months ago, and I said, man, we were talking about boy bands on an episode. I said, what about DreamStreet? And a lot of people were like, a lot of our fans were like, who? And I was like, are you serious? Like, they were as big as the Backstreet Boys to me, and slowly and surely we introduced them. We introduced you guys to them, and it's just been people are like, you should get him on the show.
I actually shared a manager with the Backstreet Boys.
Wow.
For years, a wonderful lady manager and friend of mine, Nina, who was the Backstreet Boys for years. I think she was their Euro manager and traveled all over Europe.
The OG, man. The OG days.
So it was always cool. Yeah. So I got to hear all kinds of behind the scenes stories about them, and I met them a few of them a few times. I mean, random stories. We're talking Backstreet Boys. Was I was one time I was in Florida with her and AJ's parents, and we went out to dinner. And I was, probably 18 with AJ's parents and Nina having dinner, and I ordered steak kebab, but it came out like 30 minutes after everybody had already eaten, and it was like really, really late. So I was like rushing to eat it really quick. And I swear, this has never happened to me before, but of course, when I'm having dinner, with AJ's parents, one of the cubes of steak got lodged in my throat. Legit.
Oh no.
And I was sitting there like, and I turned to Nina and I was like, I would probably start turning blue. And like, just like out of Mrs. Doubtfire, the movie, I had to like stand up, and some like waiter came up from behind me and like gave me the Heimlich, and this thing shot across the room, and I was just mortified. So there's probably a good chance they'll remember me.
Hey, that's very impacting,
That experience.
Very memorable.
We're gonna be talking about that tonight, but hey, you never know.
Hey, this is a cool
on the freaking Freck Show, right?
That's
It's a
right.
story you never told before.
Right.
That's what we're all about, man. We're not here to ask you. That's one thing, man. We're not here to talk about. We're going to talk, of course, about the things that you always hear about. But like, we're not here to ask you the same questions. We try to be unique, man.
Yep.
We do.
All about that. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
What do you got? What's on your mind?
We got a couple pages worth here, so let's just dive right in. Can you take us back to the beginning of the start of business for yourself and of course the DreamStreet group? Can you take us back to how you guys came about on becoming a group? How'd you get discovered? I mean, how did this all go down?
So even though I was 13 when I got into the group, I had actually gotten my start in music when I was 6. And professionally, I was involved in music when I was 9, having done some off-Broadway and Broadway stuff.
Wow.
And that kind of led into DreamStreet. But prior to DreamStreet, there was a group called the Broadway Kids. And I was in that group with Chris and with, 20-something other people. And Chris and another kid, Jordan, who was in the Broadway Kids, lived in the same building as one of the DreamStreet producers, Brian. Brian would see Chris and Jordan singing around the hallways, singing in the elevator, writing musicals and doing their thing. And actually seeing them do that gave him this idea of like, there's these boy bands, but, no offense to those guys, but they were like in their 20s and they were a bit older and their fans were 12, 13, 9, and he's like, how come there's no 12-year-old, 13-year-old boy band, So I think that's what gave him the concept. And so he spoke to Chris, and Chris was like, yeah, I'm in the show, The Broadway Kids. Come check us out. He came to the show. I just so happened to be in that cast. So it was the show was six people in a show, but there was a cast of like 20, 30 of us on a rotation because you're kids, right? So you can't. There's like about that. So I, coincidentally was in the show. That's when Brian saw me, and then he had this project that he was working on. He asked me to come audition for it, but it actually DreamStreet was supposed to be a Broadway show. And this was right around the time that reality TV was taking off. I think like Jersey Shore was like the biggest thing at the moment. His concept was to create a Broadway show where you'd have these 5 kids who were, like Chris and Jordan, run around the hallways, trying to make it, trying to be creative, putting together this band with a dream to get signed to a label and get their song on the radio. So it would be the same storyline every show, and then at the end of the show, they get signed, they get a song on the radio, and then the like quote unquote reality aspect of it would be when you're driving home from the Broadway show and you turn on Z100 or Radio Disney, the song would be on the radio, right? So that was the actual original concept. Brian teamed up with this Broadway choreographer and amazing businessman, Louis. The two of them put together a model set. They did these auditions and they casted me, Chris, Jordan, and two other guys, Billy and Jonathan. It's been a long time. So the five of us were actually in the original group, and we were called Boy Wonder. And we worked all summer long. I was 13, pretty sure. And then at the end of the summer, we did a big showcase for numerous labels. And a lot of the labels had a very similar opinion, which was that they liked Chris and I, but wanted to recast the group. So, they told Chris and I to pretend like we were auditioning again. We already had been in this project for a year, and that's when they brought in Matt and Frankie and Jesse, and then changed the name to DreamStreet because Broadway is known as the Street of Dreams. And then we had this Broadway show that we were pitching. Meanwhile, also working on getting the song on the radio, which Radio Disney picked us up first. Radio Disney started, we started getting popular there, and then they started asking us to do these tours, and we started doing these mall tours. And honestly, I don't think that, Brian and Louis was expecting it to just kind of like take off the way that it did. But they couldn't keep up with the growth. And then at that point, it's like you go where the money is, you go what makes sense. So the Broadway show thing kind of just, died out, and then we were a boy band. So yeah, I mean, it's a little different than maybe some other bands.
It is.
Like I've been in tons of bands, even prior to DreamStreet, my little garage bands, and it's your friends and you're writing the music. But DreamStreet was really more of like a Broadway show in the sense that we all auditioned for it. We were all experienced professionals, even though we were kids, with agents who sent us on this audition, and it was that sort of a thing. But nonetheless, it was amazing. I mean, it was an absolute dream come true.
Absolutely.
Unintended.
Yeah, I was gonna call you on it, but I'm usually the one who does puns. But man, you got it.
I'm a dad now, so it's just like that good thing just comes to me very naturally. So
nice, man. I'm a dad to a doggy, so
that's amazing, man. That's such a different story from what we're used to hearing, and that those are the stories that we love. It was a different route to get to where you are now, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you want to be who you are without these steps along the way. And that's awesome, man.
Yeah. I mean, when I got my start musically, honestly, I fell in love with the guitar. And I wanted to be a rock guitar player. I mean, literally since I was like 2-3 years old, my parents I would play with these little toy guitars. And then by the time I was 6, they were like, all right, like this kid needs guitar lessons. He obviously wants to do this. And my mom found a flyer, I think, at the train station for this lady whose main gig was kids parties. And I think I was actually her first student. So when I started learning from her, she was teaching me all these like kids songs, row, row, row your boat, and this land is your land. She was like this folky hippie with this like hair down to the ground. And I was just always very charismatic. So like within 6 months of learning all these songs, she was like, hey, do you want to do these kids parties with me? Like, I think they would get a real kick out of you. And I was like, yeah, no doubt. Let's do it. So I'm pretty sure she was like paying me in candy. But I had such a great time because it was basically like like wedding crashers, but like little kids
Yeah.
party crashers. I was the same age as all the other kids at the party. You know, I did a goodie bag at the end of the day, and it was, you know, it was great. So that's kind of where I started performing, and then that actually led into, my dad is a big Elvis guy. I always listened to Elvis. So I started learning some Elvis songs for him. And his sister is this incredible seamstress. So she made me this like legit Elvis costume, mini man Elvis costume. So I started working that into my kids' party routine, and all, you know, with the sideburns and the gems and the cape.
Yeah.
My aunt videotaped it once, and then without us knowing, sent it into Star Search. Star Search got wind of it, asked me to go on the show. From that, I ended up getting signed with a talent management company. And that was, you know, by the time I was 9. So by the time I was 9, I was doing auditions, and then it just, you know, like a snowball, it just kept going and going and going.
And that's what I noticed, you know, going back to, of course, like YouTube, you know, YouTube is the best thing for archive footage these days. You know, you guys were just on everything. You know, I mean, Maury, you know, you guys are just I could tell you guys are just going, just nonstop, one thing after the next. And it was just, and the crazy thing is, you know, it was in a very short span of time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's crazy that, you know, look, in hindsight, it was a couple of years.
Yeah.
And even still to this day, those couple of years are like still something that's such a big part of who I am.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that was actually my second time on Maury. I was on Maury as a solo artist when I was, who knows how old. No, was it Maury or Sally Jesse Raphael?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But the Maury show was the like, you know, they say overnight success. It's not really overnight, because we had been working for years. I mean, I started when I was 6. Like, it's you know, it takes time, but that Maury show was that overnight moment where the next show we had was sold out. And literally from after, I mean, that's a national program. So I reached enough people, and then it was, you know, it was a wrap from that point on. There was just lines of people waiting outside before, you know, shows, and, you know, the madness ensued.
So I guess it's clear to say, you know, once the debut album came out, things got a little hectic for you guys.
No, nope. It was before that. So it was literally the Maury show. After the Maury show, we had a concert. I think it was at WWF something in Times Square. And it sold out immediately. And we were filming that because we were going to make it into a DVD or something. And I'm pretty sure that was all prior to our album having been recorded. And then, yeah, and then we did these Steve Madden mall tours. And then we did just all the Radio Disney stuff. Yeah. And then we hooked up with Aaron Carter, and we're doing a ton of tours with him. We opened for Britney Spears. That was like the one where we started doing arenas and stuff. So I mean, it's hey, at the end of the day, everything's meant to be. It happens for a reason, but you know, we were really on our way up. Not to mention, it was almost as if they were clearing the path for us, because just as we were on our way up, Backstreet and NSYNC like went out. So, you know, it was pretty likely that we could have, or we would have reached that, you know, status. But there was a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and you know, in all honesty, you know, as a 15-year-old at the time who's got thousands of girls screaming their name and in a very one-track mind, I was not concerned about contracts
Yeah.
or money or any of that. So
Yeah.
I couldn't even really tell you what happened.
Yeah.
I
Mostly,
mean, you were a kid also.
not only that, I didn't even
You know?
care. I was on top of the world. I was
Yeah.
you couldn't touch me. And you know, in all reality, my dream was never to be in a boy band. I got cast into a boy band because I auditioned for a Broadway show. But I was writing my own music at like 6, 7 years old, playing guitar. And I even remember at a couple points towards the end of DreamStreet, I started writing music for DreamStreet and pitching it to, you know, the producers, being like, hey, what do you think of the song? Like, you know, is that something we could consider? So like I've always been that artist in that way.
Sure.
And so when things started getting rocky in my world, it was just like, oh well, I get to do my music now, and like I almost thought of it as a blessing because at that point in time we had just enough success that there were people who were like diehard that were going to support us no matter what, but also like not at the point like Backstreet or NSYNC, where unless you're Justin Timberlake, you know, you typecast as that for the rest of your life, you know. And I felt like I made enough connections. I was like, this is great. We didn't hit like the mainstream, but you know, now I can do me and I can do my rock music and I can write my own stuff and be in my band and play my guitar. You know, and I started doing that, you know, right away, right after DreamStreet. I mean, we actually did a show. It was the WBLI Summer Jam or Winter Jam. And I remember it was Chris, Frankie, and Matt made a trio. And then Jesse went solo and I went solo. And we performed at this Winter Jam at Nassau Coliseum separately, but on the same stage as different acts. And I remember that show as, I mean, legit one of just the highlights of my life because, you know, a song that I wrote on my nightstand on a napkin was being played out of Nassau Coliseum speakers in front of a sold out crowd with a group of guys that, you know, that were my friends that, you know, I still hang out with today. So it's different, you know, when you're a creator and you're a writer and you're doing your thing. Again, not to knock what we were doing in DreamStreet, but it happens every time. It was written by the same guy who wrote Baby Hit Me One More Time, Britney Spears. So it's just different. It's just, you know, it's just very different.
Greg, I had about 3,000 questions pop into my head as you're talking about the writing experience. That's what gets Caleb and I going, man, is somebody that creates the jam from start to finish. It's something that we really, really like to talk about. With somebody like yourself that's been in the music game from before you pretty much were walking to now, with everything that's changed technology-wise, we're talking YouTube, iTunes, Apple, Spotify, all that stuff. Has it made it, obviously it's made it easier, but how has that changed how you create music? I mean, do you go about it a different way altogether now?
No, not really. I mean, literally before we jumped onto this, I was in a writing session with my buddy Ed, who's sitting on the couch over there right now.
Hi, Ed.
Hi, Ed. You want to be on the Frickin' Frack Show?
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man.
We've been writing together now a couple of years. We have a little project called City Country, doing like country rock pop music. Just it's because it's fun and it's what I'm feeling right now. But I think as a creator, it's just a matter of, it's not something you do because you have to. And hopefully, you know, if you're fortunate enough, it's not something you do to eat and put food on the table, but rather something you do because it's just who you are. And it's something that you not do. And so I've kind of flirted with that throughout the years, and had my own journey through figuring out what worked for me. But I personally feel that my best, most authentic material, it comes from a place that's just not so unforced. It's just a very natural. It's just what I do.
It's a passion. It's your
Yeah,
passion, man.
and in terms of like the changes in technology, our first song that we did at City Country, I never left this room. And the whole thing was recorded by studio musicians in Nashville,
Wow.
which was a really cool experience. So much so that the second batch of songs we recorded, we decided to fly down to Nashville just to like be in the studio and see how they're doing this. And even after all my experience and years of being in the business, that particular experience in Nashville, the producer's name is Larry Biard. It's Biard Music Group. And these dudes, it was literally like Willy Wonka's Music Factory. It blew my mind. These guys came in and they, we sat down with Larry. We did our pre-pro. We charted the song out, and these musicians come in, and he even gave us a warning. He's like, "Listen, we're going to play the song for them. It's going to seem like they're not paying attention. They're going to be talking to each other, and they're, but like, I promise you, like, they're listening, and they, like, it's all good. We do this every day, all day. Like, just don't worry." And I'm like, "All right, man." And then, like, exactly what he said happened. Like, the little demo that I made here, that's just an acoustic track to give them the idea of what what the song's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
They're just like talking about last night's dinner over it while it's playing, and I'm like, "Hey guys, but listen to that part, and like, don't forget there's a hit there," and like, and then they press record, the click comes in, and it's legit one take, one live performance, done.
Wow.
Next song. And they do 6 songs in 3 hours, a song and a half an hour. After that one live take, he'll go back to the drummer and be like, "Any things you need to fix?" He'll be like, "Oh, second verse, just punch me in real quick. Okay, go to the bass player. You need any fixes?" And in a half an hour, the song's done, or the track's done. Next song.
Cool. They move fast in Nashville.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I've never seen anything like that.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's super cool. And that's, and now with COVID and all the craziness, it's cool that we're still able to pursue that and still make music professionally from this chair with this microphone, and have a full band just like send me a track. From my basement, send them a vocal, they mix it, voila, on to the next one.
That's wild.
So
process.
yeah, it's in that sense, I have nothing but good things to say about the technology and the fact that I can, with very limited equipment, still produce a very professionally, professional sound. So yeah, no complaints here. But again, I also don't, my music isn't my main source of income by any means,
Right.
So maybe somebody who's makes a living from the rights of their music would have a different opinion with, Spotify,
Sure.
all that stuff. So that's another story. But in terms of the convenience and the fun and the passion of it, like I love it. All the technology, bring it on.
Nice.
Do you have a favorite genre that you like to write in? I mean, I know you talked about how you like different types of music. You're talking about Nashville rock, and then you obviously, the DreamStreet thing was a pop saga, What's your favorite genre to write music in?
It depends on the year you ask me that question.
Yeah.
Caleb's like that.
Yeah, me too.
It depends on my, what's going on in my life. So it really, really varies. Obviously DreamStreet was straight up pop. from Dream Street, I did like a pop rock thing. From there, I went into I had a moment where we were like rock, metal, heavy rock. But I must say that there is a constant throughout all of the different genres, which is pop, pop rock, pop country, pop metal. I think that, like Who I Am does like that, just like that, those melodies that are pleasing to the ear, and the whole less is more thing is vibes with me. So I think no matter what I'm doing, there'll probably always be an element of simple pop. But I would have never guessed if we were having this conversation, I was 23 years old, I would tell you you're crazy if you ever mention the word country. Never my thing. But it's my wife loves country. My best friend loves country. A bunch of friends of mine are all listening to country. So kind of like forced down my throat. But as a songwriter, if you listen to country, you can't deny that some of those songs lyrically, the stories they tell, I mean, just the best stuff,
Definitely.
that's out there. And so that's what really started to get me to listen to it, was the storytelling. And I was like, wait a minute, I gotta use that. And then I did start getting into it. I mean, I'm at the point now where when I'm doing work in the garage, like I've got my Spotify country hits playing, I'm listening to by myself. So by the time I was in my late 20s, I knew that it was something that I wanted to pursue, even if it was just to make a country album for my wife. So I knew that was going to happen. And then I got a random message from this random dude from a website called Bandmix, which I didn't even make a profile on. I think it must have pulled my information from like MySpace or who knows what. And I started getting all these emails from like these old cover bands asking me if I'd come sing for them. And I had no interest in any of that. So then I like found my profile. I edited a bit. I think I was a little cocky in my profile. My bio was just like, Google me. And then this guy hits me up and was like, "Hey man,
Who was this guy?"
he's like, look, I'm a songwriter and I'm looking for somebody to write pop, country, rock music." And he just said like the right 3 words that I knew was like on my horizon. And I was like, all right, well, let's meet up, and I hope he doesn't kill me. So we met up at a recording rehearsal studio in the city, and in like 30 minutes we wrote a song. Which was it? Kryptonite.
Yeah.
It was about a girl in her cutoff jeans being near kryptonite.
Yeah,
nice.
And it was simple, it was smooth, and he was like, "Want to do it again next week?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then that just kept happening, and now it's like
4 or 5 years.
Is it 4 or 5 years already?
Like that,
wow.
Yeah, over
100.
hundreds of songs that we've written. And it's just been a lot of fun, to tell you the truth. Some we run the gamut from like from funny comical stuff to like really really heartfelt stuff to really really sad deep stuff to that's kind of what I like also about country, is you don't really always have to take yourself too seriously.
That's true.
Which I don't really do as a person either, so it just works.
Do you have to have what's the writing experience for Greg? Okay, this is something that when people are writing music, they're songwriters, that we like to ask. What does that look like for you? Is there something specific that has to happen? Do you have to have something? Like one of our country artists, Bailey, came on and said something about a candle, you know, something simple like that. What has to be there for you to be in the zone?
I couldn't tell you. It's just almost like something in the air, I guess. I mean, we've also had plenty of sessions where we sit down to write and then we start shooting the shit, and then it's 3 hours later we didn't write a word, and it turned into a bang, which is fine, you know. You know, I've had moments where I've had like a really traumatic experience in my life, or the loss of life, and you know, I've turned to music as my therapy. You know, one of the albums that I released, Lost Love Life, was exactly that. And that just helped me so much get through some like really heavy stuff. You know, so it kind of depends on the moment. I mean, not to mention the mood you're in, you know, like if you're writing because you have to, because you're getting something off your chest for therapeutic reasons, or if you're writing because you think something's really funny and, you know, and it'd be a great song and you're cracking up and you're saying ridiculous lines in between, you know, writing just because, you know, whatever. I don't know. I'm a very open-minded in the sense that I like to invite anyone to our writing sessions, whether you're a songwriter or not. A lot of people don't realize that you don't have to be a songwriter to write a song. You know, and sometimes it could be just sitting in the room. You could have a vibe. You can have an energy that adds to the experience. I mean, Ed was telling me the other day, there's these you know, professional songwriters in Nashville who don't write at all, but the real writers just like them around because they bring a nice energy to the room, and they're always in these sessions because them sitting there, you know, helps create a better song. So it's like
argue with magic.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, man.
Know where it's gonna come from. That's you know, to answer your question, it's just in the air, really.
Yeah. Yep. Do you have a crazy like a crazy song, like it happens every time, and the impact that song even has today? So just a little background. Caleb introduced me to you guys, right? So you gained a new fan within this last year. The song, I mean, seriously, the song, It Happens Every Time. How did that impact? I mean, I know it impacted thousands and thousands of people around the world, but how did it impact you, Greg?
Did it impact me? I would say that as a teenager, there's the natural question of what is this song about? Which I think I saw on TikTok recently. Somebody posted something like, "Have you listened to these words? Do you know what they're talking about?" So there's that. So I think to some extent it was not a song that I necessarily felt so like seriously about. But on the flip side, I do, you know, remember probably one of my highlight DreamStreet memories, especially having, you know, been in it a year longer than, you know, most of the other guys other than Chris, and having been with the team for so long and you know, started from the bottom, now we here sort of thing. When we were shooting the DreamStreet music video for It Happens Every Time, and how that impacted me specifically. Again, random tidbit. There was a guy named David Niles, I think, and he was the inventor or creator of the HD camera.
Wow.
And you know, listen, Brian and Louie, the producers of DreamStreet, honestly were the ones and the reason why we, you know, had any success. They were the driving force. Incredible businessmen, incredible entrepreneurs, and somehow they finagled connecting with the inventor of the HD camera, who had a like $1 million+ budget to create some sort of video footage to showcase HD, high definition,
Wow.
footage. And so the DreamStreet It Happens Every Time music video actually was the first HD recorded film made for the purpose of showcasing what HD looks like. So we had this insane budget. I mean, I think it was actually $1 million.
Oh, it's so simple though.
To make
Yeah.
a music video. So like,
Yeah.
what can you do with $1 million? Well, you can rent a cruise ship. You can rent a helicopter to fly around while we dance on a cruise ship. You can build a truck to drive through Central Park while hundreds of people, chase after you. You can, you go up on a rooftop, and then, the real moment was they built a stage in the middle of, I think it was like an old Daily News, like rundown factory that was closed, and they built this stage on the water with airplane lights, like jet lights all around it, and this like huge boom with like multiple cameras, and we recorded, we filmed on this like makeshift stage on July 4th, literally under the Macy's Day Parade fireworks show. So much so that there was one point when a burning piece of ash fell on Jesse's arm and burnt his arm, because that's how close we were. Like, you weren't allowed to be where we were during these fireworks, but we were there, recording this music video, and it was just, they had this huge like TV screen, and there was fog, and there was lights, and it was like they're blasting the music, and they had the jet lights on the sides of the stage, and then the fireworks started going off, and I remember having this moment of where we're recording, and I legit like got emotional. Like, I started to cry. Like, I was just like so overwhelmed with that moment and that success and the point that we were at, that they had to like cut. And then Claudia, our choreographer, comes running onto the stage and hugs me, and then like Chris comes running in and hugs me, and then we all just had this like group like hug for a moment to just kind of like take it all in, and then like gather ourselves and count back to take 3 or take 3,000, whatever it was. But like I do really remember that moment. So when you mention that song and how it affected me, that's probably where my mind goes to. It was the music video specifically.
Wow.
Man, Caleb, we have a lot of comments coming in saying that they had never heard that story.
I'm full of them. There's lots that I'm sure people have heard. But hey, that's what we're here for, right? Frickin' frack, baby, bringing you the good stuff.
The real question is, do you remember the lyrics to it?
I do. Yes. Yeah.
All right. So we got to ask, right? I mean, can we get an exclusive?
My 2.5-year-old son is like the biggest DreamStreet fan, and he loves listening to our stuff. And like literally every night before going to bed, asks me to sing him "It Happens Every Time." So like this is like my lullaby is singing "It Happens Every Time," which I did no longer than a couple hours ago. So I guess to segue into playing it, every year I've done an annual birthday banger. And I've been doing this since probably I was like 18. It's been like just a really, really cool way of staying in touch with fans. And I'll usually invite every band member I've ever been in a band with, and we'll go through the like the first Gregory Raposo band, and then the Raposo band, and then
Wow.
the Taken band, and then the Dead Celebrities band, and then and it's just a great time. I mean, it's the best way I could think of spending my birthday or celebrating my birthday is to be on a stage with all my friends and an open house party sort of thing. So I've been doing that many years. This year was the first time we couldn't really do it, so I ended up doing like a Zoom birthday concert, and I performed this rendition that is coming to you shortly. Stay tuned. Of It Happens Every Time, which is basically the lullaby version that I sing to Jackson. And after performing it live, I just got so many requests from people to record it. They were like, please just record it. Like, it was so nice. I want to listen to it.
Wow.
So it was on my to-do list. It was something I was like, yes, no problem. I'm going to do it. I'm very busy. You have no idea. I can tell you a little bit more about what my actual life is like.
Absolutely.
So I hadn't gotten around to doing it yet, but then the news, came about Chris, and just like I had mentioned earlier about, turning to music for therapy, it became, recording my lullaby version of It Happens Every Time became a necessity. And it was something that I did for myself, first and foremost. Like, I needed to do that. And I, after I had recorded it, I sent it out to the other guys, with no real expectations. It's like, listen, guys, this is something I'm going to do. Like, you're more than welcome to join me.
Absolutely.
No worries. Like, don't worry about it. I know everybody's busy. You got your lives. And literally, like, before I could even finish the sentence, each guy was like, what do I got to do? How do I get involved?
Wow.
And that just came together really, really beautifully. Frankie actually did all of the video editing. He's a very talented editor. You can tell by how nice it came out.
Definitely.
I produced the music and put it together, and going back to the technology, I mean, we all did that from our own rooms or whatever. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, if you want to hear the lullaby version, obviously you can hear all of us doing it. If you Google DreamStreet reunion or whatever.
And I do want to say, man, the tribute video was absolutely beautiful, man. It was very, very touching. In my house, there wasn't a dry eye, and I've watched it about 500 times.
I mean, honestly, having put that together, and not only, just the way that it all came together and the way that everybody came together. And then, yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm very proud of it. I had a hard time watching it, especially, I've seen it probably a million times because Jackson wants to like watch it every night. But yeah, I remember the first time I watched the video that, Frankie edited and sent to me for my review or for comments. I was a mess. I couldn't even I couldn't even get through it. And I remember just calling him on the phone, and the both of us were just silent for like 2 minutes. Like, he's like, what do you think? And like, I couldn't even talk. And yeah, it is very, very special. It's probably one of my, most special pieces of art I feel like I've created, and very meaningful for me. But yeah, I'll show you where it started from. I think Ed's gonna strum along with me in the background.
Sounds good.
You want to be on capo 1, not capo 2. producer in me coming out now. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear the music playing? Can you feel the rhythm swaying? This is the sound of dreams come true. And I can promise you that you are the one and only. And I'm the lost and lonely. We are the perfect dream come true. And I can promise you that I hear a silly love song in my heart. It happens every time when I see you. Happens every time when I think of you. Happens every time. Oh, it's magic when we meet down on DreamStreet. Let me take you by the hand and walk you down the Milky Way, 'cause you make me feel I'm so alive. And I promise, baby, I hear a silly love song in my heart. It happens every time when I see you. Happens every time when I think of you. Happens every time. Oh, it's magic when we meet down on DreamStreet. When I close my eyes, there's angels all around, singing a love song. You know it happens every time when I see you. Oh, it happens every time. Oh. It happens every time when I see you. Happens every time when I think of you. Happens every time. Oh, it's magic when we meet down on. Happens every time when I see you. Happens every time when I think of you. Happens every time. Oh, it's magic when we meet down on DreamStreet.
My man. My man.
Not a dry eye in the room, including myself, man.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I finally went to a DreamStreet concert tonight. It is so incredible, man. Wow.
I mean, since I got the guitar here, and I got Ed here, you guys want a little exclusive original?
Let's keep it going,
Absolutely,
baby.
man. Do
Let's
it.
keep
Do
it going.
So this is a song that was also a therapeutic write to me, and you know, I had Ed with me to put it together. It's a song called "Smile," and I'll let the song, you know, tell its own story, but I think you'll kind of know what it's about. Not recorded, not out there. I don't even know if we demoed it yet. This is
Is this a frickin' frack? Is this
fresh.
a frickin' frack exclusive?
This is very much so frickin' frack exclusive. Never heard before.
Awesome, man.
How's it start? you when the wind blows south. Running down the highway, windows down. I still can't believe you're not around, but you're there. I don't look up at the sky, shake my fist and ask you why no more. It ain't like before. There were Friday nights and Sunday mornings you were taken without warning. Now I'll never be the same, but every storm runs out of rain. I went numb and I lost feeling. I let time do its healing. Now I crank it up real loud so you can hear me above the clouds. It's been a while, but now when I think of you, I think of you, I think of you and smile. So we'll dream on like we did before. I can feel the rain when you hear my name. It takes me back to Friday nights and Sunday mornings. You were taken without warning. Now we'll never be the same, but every storm runs out of rain. I went numb and I lost feeling. I let time do its healing. Now I crank it up real loud so you can hear me above the clouds. It's been a while, but now when I think of you, I think of you, I think of you and smile. Oh, so can you hear the music playing, my old friend? I can feel the magic when I see you again. There were Friday nights, Sunday mornings you were taken without warning. Now we'll never be the same. Every storm runs out of rain. I went numb and I lost feeling. I let time do its healing. Now I crank it up real loud so you can hear me above the clouds. It's been a while, but now when I think of you, I think of you, think of you and smile. Smile.
Man.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful, man.
Thank you.
I muted my mic so you didn't hear me sniffling, but beautiful.
What's the title of that, Greg? What have you guys came up with one yet?
Smile.
Smile. I love it. Love it, man. Wow.
Look, at the end of the day, life ends. It's a part of it, right? So, I've known Chris since I was 11 in Broadway Kids. One of my oldest friends, me and a couple other guys who I'm still very close with. We go back to 11. We're in our mid 30s now. So I know him pretty well, and he was just a very bright, happy person, and the last thing he would want would be anybody upset and crying. I mean, when I think of him, I think of his smile. I think of the light, the bright light that he was. So that was, something that took a minute to find and to come to terms with. But when I think of you, I think of his smile, and there's nothing, I know there's nothing more he would want than for us to talk about him and to think of him and smile, and so that's a song that we'll probably record eventually, and maybe I'll make a tribute for him, video or something. But again, all this stuff is not even something I do for any other reason than it helps me, and it reaches some people that it helps them, and I mean, what a better way of honoring somebody's memory and continuing to shine that light, so that's a big part of music for me, and a big reason why I know I'll never stop writing, and I know I'll never stop singing. I'll never stop performing, because it's more than just a hobby or a passion. It's like my identity. It's who I am. It's like my life. So
it does who you are, man.
It doesn't matter how many views it has. It doesn't matter how much money it makes. It doesn't matter anything. All that, what it comes down to is that it does something, and not to sound selfish, but it does something for me. And then the added plus to that is when I get emails from people, or messages on Facebook and messages on Instagram, and oh my God, this, you don't even know what this meant to me and what this song did for me, or and that's the stuff that just like makes all the difference. And I'm so grateful to have been given this gift that I can do it. And sharing it is just an honor, really.
Well, thank you for sharing it with us, man. It truly, truly means a lot to us. Just looking at these comments, there was a lady who said she lost her best friend last night and she needed that song.
Exactly what I'm talking about. You really never know, who you're reaching and what you're doing. And it's so important to just be yourself, do you, and put it out there. Let so many people have such insecurities about sharing these things, and I'm fortunate enough to have experienced the benefit of doing that, and and on the flip side, I've also been through the opposite end of that, of people who have not appreciated it or had their the haters or whatever. But
there's a lot of those, man.
We have some of those.
Of course.
we have them too.
Bro, I was the new guy in high school as a freshman. And I was in a boy band at the same time.
Oh man.
My first 2 years of high school, I had only female friends.
Come on.
And and a lot of them were more than friends. And so the guys did not appreciate the new kid in a boy band coming in and getting all this attention. So I had a rough time, my first couple of years. I mean, death threats, the FBI got involved at one point. There was like legit, stuff that was going on. But in a way, it actually really helped to balance me, because from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., I felt like I was at the bottom of the totem pole. And then the bell would ring. I'd go into the city and I'm like, hanging out at Columbia Records, and I'm, on top of the clouds, living in this unreal world. But then 8 a.m. again, I was back, at the bottom of the totem pole. So it actually kind of did help me like stay somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much that balance was important until there was one point where we were doing an Aaron Carter tour. This was like my junior year. And there was like 3 months where we were on the road and we had to have tutors, and I was not in school. And we're talking about 3 months here. We're not talking about like people have their whole lives living in this world, right? I had 3 months of that being a constant for me without the balance of the back and forth. And I remember coming back to school, and like, I think I've always felt I'm pretty grounded. I've got an amazing family. Like, I just said like, oh, I'm never going to be like too good, or like, my head will always stay on my shoulders. But like, straight up, I came back after those 3 months, and my junior prom was coming up, and I straight up was walking around that school like, who am I going to honor with the pleasure of being invited to my junior prom? Like, my shit don't stink sort of thing. And, I had to really quickly be like put back into my place. So listen, when you hear stories about these celebrities who are just in another world, I kind of get it. Like, you are it's another world. You are treated very, very differently. I had a very small stint with that. So I get to kind of really have a better appreciation for it. Like that little bit of paparazzi that we had, and that little time when I couldn't go to the mall because it would create like pandemonium. It was awesome because it only lasted a couple years. That was my life still to this day. I maybe like shave my head like Britney Spears. I don't know.
Free Britney, man. Free Britney.
Listen, honestly, I don't want to like talk poorly about anybody, but a friend of mine sent me this video of Aaron recently that broke my heart. It really did.
It's very heartbreaking to see him on Instagram.
And like I've known the kid since he was like 13 years old, and again, it's just it can be really sad. It can be really just nasty, and you can see it in some people who haven't had a break from it, who it's been the constant of their life. I mean, anyway, I don't want to,
Oh, that's
no,
okay.
man, we get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
But again, I'm fortunate to like be on the ground and to have a really strong support team. And I've got 3 younger sisters who are just like the best people in the world. My parents are incredible. So I'm very fortunate to have my family and my friends and realness. I'm Queens, New York, born and raised.
Nice,
still here.
I love Queens, man.
Yeah, we're pretty real.
Yeah, you guys got some good pizza places over there. When Vicky and I, we love going to New York, and sadly, due to Corona, we didn't go last year. But I'm telling you, man, we stay in Queens at an Airbnb every time, man.
Well, next time you stay at my place, so don't even.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
It is. You just made Caleb's whole year, bro.
Hey, Vicky, I'm gonna say, hey, Vicky, you want to go stay at Greg's house?
I mean, no big deal. We're friends now.
Yeah.
I get it. You got my number, so.
Thank you so much, man.
A lot of people are talk. And one
Yeah.
of the things I take pride in, and it's unfortunate that so many people talk. But
Sure.
I can say this, and I know a lot, and you know, anybody would back it up who knows me is like, I actually mean what I say and I do what I say. So yeah, man,
Definitely.
you want to come crash here for a weekend? You
Yeah.
know, we'll cap it at a weekend.
Yeah. Weekend's good, man. I mean, I was gonna
Shot-
say, for a month, but that's fine. Weekend will work.
Shotgun called it. Shotgun, Vicky. Shotgun.
Put the brakes on it.
Your vaccination card.
Yes. I actually. So the 31st, I'll have my second dose.
I just got
So-
mine last week.
Well, I had Corona back in December, and it was not fun. It wasn't just a cold. And then I've been dealing with the symptoms since then for 3
has.
months. I have
has.
every single symptom still. I have a thing called COVID fog, and I can have it up to 6 months after December when I had COVID. Like right now, my head's just not a good place at all.
It's been rough on you, man. It has.
Believe it or not, my man Ed over here is actually a professional doctor, a very successful elite
Come on.
doctor. So if you got any questions,
There you go.
I got one right here for you.
Let me text you a few.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, what a blessing it was though, because we got to write through the whole thing because he come
Wow.
through with his kit and test me, before every writing session.
Wow.
So honestly,
It's always a good friend to have around, huh?
yeah. I mean, we've gotten pretty close through the years, and I'm kind of surprised I never got it. I
too.
was working the whole time as an essential worker, and got lucky,
Yeah.
And I'm clear now. So,
Which that actually brings us to our point. A lot of people are asking, "What are you doing now, man? Like, what's your essentialness?"
how much time you got?
We got a
Well,
lot of
we're-
time. I mean,
yeah.
we're unlimited, believe it or not. We
Yeah.
tell people an hour because we want them. We want to get them on the show, but like it's unlimited. Yeah,
Well,
I think 6 hours.
When I sit down and start to think about all the different things that I do, it's overwhelming to like look at.
Yeah.
So I really kind of focus on one thing at a time. But in all reality, I am a real estate agent. I am a construction superintendent. I am a real estate developer. I am a property manager, and I am also a restaurant entrepreneur. And what else do I do, Ed?
Write songs.
Music.
Songwriter. I got my
Producer.
I'm producing for a
Yeah.
few different artists. We're writing for other artists. But no, mainly my source of income is I develop properties in Queens,
Yeah.
and then I manage properties for my family and for some close friends, flipping properties, and also as a construction superintendent, I'm the safety guy.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I do a lot. I'm a very
Whatever your
busy
friends
guy.
need.
Yeah.
But in all reality, I'm very used to that. Like since I was 9, I've had this like insanely active, professional life. Most kids, after school are, not doing their homework, whereas I was not doing my homework because I was in the city and I was doing commercials and yes, Tiffany, and best of all, a full-time father. Which is the most rewarding, and the real reason behind it all. So, I wear many hats, a jack of all trades, if you will. But it's also, a part of who I am. I heard the saying, everybody's familiar with the saying, a jack of all trades, master of none. And I never realized that the full statement is jack of all trades, master of none is oftentimes better than a master of one.
Wow.
And I was like, hell yeah, that that really is working out for me because in all
Sure is.
reality, you know, even though I don't necessarily consider myself an expert at any particular thing, I'm pretty successful and I do well in almost anything that I get myself into. And I think a lot of it has to do with just like my core values and like the basics. Like sometimes you don't necessarily need all the fancy stuff. It's back down to it's like pop music. Less is
Oh
more.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
But before we let you go or anything, what do you have coming up next? What can you tell the people to look forward to? Whether that be real estate, construction, music, what do you have coming out, Greg?
I mean, real estate wise, I'm working on plans for a new property, but I don't think you're too concerned about that. I'm expanding my property management company. I'm taking on a whole bunch of new clients. I don't think you're concerned about that.
Sure, man. You never
we
know
love it
who's
all,
watching.
man.
You never know who's watching, man.
We're actually our toughest job is the fact that we've written so many songs that we have to pick like 6 to record.
Man.
So we've been like really banging our heads on the wall, going through hundreds of songs to sift from of, hey, what's going to be our next batch to record. But we already, set the time aside for it. We've already, put the money in our piggy bank for it. So it's all ready to go. So up next, surely will be some new city country music. I'm pushing to get Smile on that next demo.
Yeah. Push very hard.
Good chance he'll make it. So yeah, you can look forward to some new music coming out. Another one of the things I do as a hobby is video editing. I don't have Frankie's skills, but I do love putting music to video.
Yeah.
So I recently, well, maybe not so recently anymore, but I did, I put together a little music video for one of our city country songs called Sea of Lighters. You can check that out. Google Sea of Lighters, City Country. And I have in my head some ideas for some more music videos for some other songs we've already done. But honestly, I just don't have enough time for all the things I want to do.
Yeah.
Some people struggle with finding a passion. My struggle is finding the time for all of my passion. I have a soccer group that I organize, and we play once a week. I've been doing it for 5 years. So I'm just very passionate about a lot of things, and life is just flying by. I look in the mirror and sometimes I'm like, who is that guy?
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to squeeze it all in. Like, no,
just do what you can.
Yeah, no time for sleeping. We're just party rocking constantly. So
on the go.
Yeah, it's lots to look forward to for sure.
Do you see yourself going on any tours in the near future? Are you going to do any little spots, do you think, once the world gets back opened up? I mean, do you want to?
Honestly, no. I don't. No? I don't see myself doing that. Mainly because right now my life is my kids, and to be on tour is to be away from them. Just the fact that I work 6 days a week and I only get 1 full day a week with them is not enough for me. The fact that I'm out from 8 to sometimes 6 or 7, and I'll see them for a half an hour in the morning and an hour before bed is not enough for me.
Wow, yeah.
So if, Brad Paisley called me tomorrow and said, I want City Country to come on tour with me, I would respectfully decline. because it's just, I'd much rather write. We've got this amazing situation where we're able to record remotely. I don't even have to leave my house. With that music and make really cool little music videos with it. But if anything, at this stage in my life, we're really more interested in publishing, and helping younger people, take that music and then they can go and tour it. And I'll watch, from Zoom over here. Yeah, I'll do the whole thing.
We have a proposition for you. Why don't you do a frickin' frat concert? We'll do it for you. We will be your platform, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, this is totally doable. My kids are in bed by like 7:38, so like between 8 and midnight is like my me time. But as I mentioned earlier, I do the birthday annual bash every year. So we're right now trying to figure out if it's too soon to do something in person.
Just right there in the middle,
Yeah, so my birthday's in May, so usually it'll be like that first weekend in May would be the concert. So
I would say
we're kind of close. We're almost in April, so I got to book something quick.
We're definitely open.
Yeah, we got
it'll
you.
probably be like a very last minute, like, hey guys, the show's coming up next weekend.
Sounds great.
So maybe we'll do something outdoors somewhere, or maybe we'll do another Zoom concert or a frickin' frat concert.
We'll just need to see if you still got the moves, man.
Yeah.
The moves are there. Believe it or not, that was another thing. My wife and we were doing dance lessons for a couple of years before COVID.
That's fantastic.
I'd never been a dancer. Actually, none of it. Chris was a trained amazing dancer.
Chris
and the other four of us had 2 left feet.
We kind of saw that with Jesse looking at y'all every single video. Jesse's like, every time.
We were not dancers. But like I did martial arts, growing up. Played soccer, so I feel like the kicks and the even like remembering like a martial arts, like the forms, is kind of like having to remember dance moves. So a lot of that I think helped me with the dancing, and then I did some of the Broadway and off Broadway stuff. There was like minimal thing and choreography to that. But no, it's a testament to Claudia, our choreographer. And honestly, to Chris, because in a way, he was, not that he was choreographing it, but he was the dance teacher. The 2 of them taught us to dance, and when we were learning that stuff, it was the 2 of them up front and the 4 of us, behind them in the mirrors, just watching them. And like, don't be fooled. Like, we had to drill those dances 6 days a week for months and months to like even look like decent.
Wow. And you guys pulled it off.
Yep.
It used to blow my mind how Claudia would be like, okay guys, this is what the dance is gonna look like, and she'd be like and then Chris would be like, oh, you mean like this? And like the 4 of us were like, yeah, fucking right. Like there's no way that's gonna happen. But then like with like real patience and step by step and just like again and again and again, and it got to the point, like honestly it was a struggle at the beginning, but once you get past that point where like you have this like muscle memory and like you don't have to think about it anymore, you just remember where to go. It was so much fun. Oh my god, like to be on stage and not have to think about the dance moves because they just came naturally because you did them that many times.
You can see a difference. Going from the beginning to like it happens every time to I don't remember recall where you guys were, but you guys were probably a year older or so. I mean, all your voices were dropped completely.
To dance in the public when we started we were not, I mean, not that we are now, but other than Chris, we really were growing and puberty and
Yeah. Oh yeah. It
the
was
whole
you
thing.
know, I mean the voices changed, you know, it was like a one it was you know, squeaky, the second was can you hear?
Yeah.
But you know, and that's the cool thing, man, because you know, you go back to the mall concerts you pulled off, you know, there was a video of I guess it was a sound check of the mall of one of the malls you guys were, and you know, it had to be you know, maybe in the beginning or so, but you know, you guys were like tired. You know, they had someone telling you what to do, and like you, I mean, Jesse was like looked like a baby. He was just like, like I don't want to.
I tell you what, best shape of my life.
Yeah.
I remember in high school, you ever do that like body fat test and they like
Mhm.
check to see whatever? And I remember doing that and they were like, you have zero body fat. Like that's not healthy. Like you need to eat more. Um, but like we would get off stage and you know, I shit you not, I could wring my boxers out. Um, just drenched like you got out of a pool. Um, but
Man.
you know, but you didn't even feel like it. You know, I wouldn't even realize how much I was sweating and how much was going on because the adrenaline was just so high.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and then just real quick, you know, another little fun story, but it was the Dream Street mall show at Roosevelt Field, my local show, where, if you recall, one of my things was so we each had a solo song, mine being Jennifer Goodbye. And my
Mhm.
thing was before every concert, before every time Jennifer Goodbye would come on, I'd say, hey, whoever screams the loudest, I'm going to pull you up on stage. Um, and, you know, they all did their little thing. And then by the time the second verse comes rolling around, I'm picking a girl up out of the crowd, which I had spotted one who looked really cute, and I pulled her up onto the stage, and I danced with her, and I sang into her eyes, and then the next day I'm in school, I'm walking down the hallway, and we bump into each other, and she says to me, what are you doing here? You're the guy who pulled me up on stage. What is happening? Did you just come to my school to find me? I said, no, I go here. I'm a student here. She's like, no way. I can't believe it. I was like, yeah, what's up? We ended up becoming really good friends. We were friends all throughout high school. She knew me way too well in high school to get, you know, romantically involved with me. But I was very persistent, and finally in college, she gave in to my persistence, and then 10 years later, we got married.
No.
And
Come on, man.
now we have 3 kids together.
What?
Yeah,
That's crazy, man.
yeah,
Wow, that's a love story.
Dude.
yeah. True story.
Jeez, man. Jennifer, goodbye, man.
I can't believe it.
In the City Country Sea of Lighters music video that I was
Mhm.
mentioning earlier, there's a point in that music video where it's a Dream Street footage, and we're on stage, and it pans to the right, and she's in the crowd. She's right there.
Come on, man.
And
We'll be checking that out.
Yeah.
to drop that into the music video. You know, if you don't know her, then you know probably not going to be able to pick that out. But little little background, you know, little
Dude.
thing.
What an episode. What an episode this has been. This is great.
This is crazy, man. That's like, you know, something you hear in the movies, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is. It's you know, my daughter Angelica, who's 5 now, just like loves that story. And
Oh.
always asking us to, you know, retell it to her.
Every night.
Not every night, but you know, enough.
Yeah.
Feels like it. But yeah, it's you know, I'm very, very fortunate to be married to like the actual girl of my dreams.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Just living the life, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Very,
man.
very blessed and just trying to shine the light and share it and leave this place a little better than we found it.
Yep.
100%.
It's something I always say, man. Try to be a better person than you were yesterday. I that's all we can do.
Yeah, one day at a time, one step at a time, and that's it.
Greg, we can't thank you enough. I got to ask you one more favor. No more singing unless, of course, you wanted to, but I got to ask you a favor. I need you to take us out, right? We ask all of our guests to do this. Can you say, this is the Frickin' Frack Show, a podcast for the fans, by the fans, and then I'll hit the outro.
Yes, but before I do that, perryperryguys.com, you guys, check it out. We got spicy hot chicken like you never had in your life.
Come and get some of that.
But right now we got one store in Hicksville, Long Island. I think we're the only crazy people to actually open up a restaurant in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I partnered with this really, really amazing guy, smart guy that I really believe in. My involvement really was my belief in him. So we partnered up. I handle the real estate side of things, the build out, the leases, the location, and then he runs the restaurant. Obviously, I would never want to actually run a restaurant. I have no experience and desire to do that. But it's our biggest problem, even with the pandemic and the winter and all those things, has been keeping up with the demand. We ended up having to rearrange the kitchen, get a new grill, add a second chef for the weekends.
Good problem.
And I'm not just saying it because I'm a part of it, but it's all about the sauce. But it's a very secret recipe. Can't tell you too much about it. But if you try it, people almost get like addicted to it. Like they have to come back for that sauce. And you pick which different level you want.
Oh yes, indeed.
But hey, you never know. And so far with what the potential it seems to have, we're hoping to expand and start opening some more and maybe at a place near you, Perry guy.
Nebraska.
Let's go, baby.
So yeah, I had to shamelessly drop that. But
absolutely.
But what's the tag? This you want me to say?
This is the Frickin' Frack Show, a podcast for the fans, by the fans.
We're gonna go right here. Yo, it's the Frickin' Frack Show, a podcast for the fans, by the fans.
That was the best one.
Dude, that's in the intro right there, baby.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. You'll be in our intro next week, buddy.
Yep.
Also, Greg, we'd like to send you one of our t-shirts.
Hell yeah.
So just we'll get that out to you sometime next week and everything, man.
Awesome. Well, you got my cell, bro. You called.
Absolutely.
These guys called up the restaurant and they were like, "Hey, can I get Greg's number?" And they called me up, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" I had to call the rest and be like, "Guys, you can't be giving out my number. What are you doing?" But
when I told Matt, he was like, "They gave you his number?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "I just called and said I need to talk to Greg," and they're like, "Okay, here it is."
Yeah. So listen, it's a new restaurant. These guys,
yeah,
they don't know what's up yet. But
hey, it worked out though.
Hey, I'm glad.
Out.
I'm just messing with you. I'm glad it worked out. This has been a lot. You guys. So like I said, you got my number. Hit me up.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, man.
We're all great now. So keep in touch for real.
Thank you, buddy. Really do appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Caleb and I'll come down and eat there.
Yes. And when you do, let me know.
I'm from Louisiana, bro. So we're all about spice.
I'm Portuguese, and it's a Portuguese. It's an African Portuguese spice. So in Portugal, in Portuguese, it's actually piri piri. So it's what I've grown up with my whole life, but it was somewhat Americanized as peri peri. So
Not too
that's
bad.
our with my partner and I. We always argue about that. He calls it peri peri. I still stick to the piri piri.
Yeah.
But again, thank you guys so much. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you everybody for the comments and for hanging out with us. And we ain't going anywhere. We'll be around. So
Until next time, my friend.
that's it. That's what it's about. Thank you guys so
Greg,
much.
we love you guys. Stick around. Here we go.
All right, guys. You're watching the freaking Frack Show.
Podcast for the fans, by the fans.
What?
We love you guys.
Gotta go.
Hello, Caleb.
Wow. That was the interview, like the highlight of our career for me. No joke.
That was
No
great.
joke, man.
He's a good dude, man.
I enjoyed everybody else, but like, yeah, he's just a good dude, man.
That was a lot of fun, man. We got so many exclusive in there, dude. That was wild.
Yes. And that's what we had said in the beginning. Like, we're not here to ask you the same thing. We want to know things that people don't know, and it was very, very important.
Yeah, man. I need to check out that sauce, bro. I need to
I'm
check
about
out that sauce.
I'm about to go to New York tomorrow, man.
Hey, Shotgun called it. Vicky, I called Shotgun Vicky. Gosh.
Ah.
Yeah, man.
All right,
another
guys.
2
Well,
hours.
I know, man. I'm so glad that he was just so cool with just staying. I think we're limited to like 6 hours with the subscription we pay for. But I mean, yeah, man. I didn't get to read a lot of the comments, but whenever I glanced, it was just like new every single time. And thank you guys so much for sticking with us. This was an episode with Greg from DreamStreet, guys. Super, super cool dude. It was amazing.
What was the best? The performance is great, but I haven't seen him do any podcasts like this.
Yeah. I mean, and we have so many new people here, guys. If you don't know who we are, we're the Frickin' Frack Show, a podcast for the fans by the fans. And let me just tell you guys, we're so happy you are here. We get guests pretty much every month, 2, 3, sometimes 3 guests a month, and you never know who's going to be on this show. We have a lot of people coming on the show. We have a lot of people planned and scheduled already. And we encourage you to like our page and follow our page on Facebook at the Frickin' Frack Show. You'll easily find us. We have, it says like 12, 13,000 followers and stuff. Very easy to spot out of all the frickin' fracks.
Yeah, man. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple, iHeart, Spotify. Go watch and listen and see the evolve from episode 1 to episode 35. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So
yes. Thank you guys for tuning in. We really do appreciate the support. It's a late night special, guys, and this episode couldn't have gone any better. We very much appreciate all of you guys, especially the new people, but of course the OGs who were with us and who have been there from the start. We're calling you out and just letting you guys know that we love you guys, and we very much appreciate it. This is the actual week episode for us, so there won't be an episode this weekend. So we're gonna see you guys sometime next week.
The 2nd, April 2nd.
That's right.
Yeah.
April 2nd, man. With someone that we're going to be announcing very shortly. Maybe tomorrow, actually.
Yeah. The supporters will get it first, and then we'll release the video and do what we do on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and everything. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you for staying up with us. I've got to go to bed, so there's that.
Yes, me too, but not really. I'm just joking. All right, guys, this is a podcast for the fans. We love you guys, And here's two of our ad sponsors back to back who are sponsoring the show. Hey guys, it's Caleb here from the Frickin' Frack Show. Today we're going to go ahead and talk about one of our sponsors, G&J Curbside. G&J is a business in Morgan State, Louisiana that's been providing for the community for many, many years. They provide food, alcohol, necessities, and many other things that's needed. G&J is also a provider for the offshore communities. G&J also provides outreach and support with sponsoring events and doing anything it can to make the city a better place. To place an order or look at the inventory of what they have, you guys can visit gjcurbside.com. They provide curbside, but we also want to note they also deliver to homes as well if needed. We want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Eric Lynn for giving us the time and sponsoring us. We truly appreciate the love and support from G&J. Guys, again, gjcurbside.com. Please support them and lend them a hand. They do a lot for this community, and we truly love and appreciate them.
Guys, Matthew here from the Frickin' Frack Show. We talk a lot on this show about the importance of your mental health, but something I think that gets overlooked is your physical health too. That is why we are so excited to be partnering with Complete Health Nebraska. They're located here in Lincoln, Nebraska at 2801 Pine Lake Road, Suite C. You can find them on Facebook at www.facebook.com/CompleteHealthNE or on their website at CompleteHealthSupplements.com. With our partnership, we have a very special deal for you guys and you guys only. When ordering on their website, make sure you use promo code FF15. That's FF, the number 1, the number 5 for 15% off your entire order and free shipping nationwide on orders $50 or more. Again, that's promo code FF15 at checkout for 15% off your entire order and free shipping nationwide on anything over $50. You know what? Just give them a call too at 402-423-4230. Tell them the guys at the Frickin' Frack Show sent you, and you'll get the same special deal. Give them a call. They'll set you up with anything and everything that you need to keep your mind and your body in peak performance. Remember to use promo code FF15 at checkout when browsing their wide selection of mental and physical health supplements. All right, guys,